Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Okay, so I just recorded a video in French, which I will link down below. And I already know that wasn't necessarily the best way to say things, so I decided to make the video that I made in French and just make a video basically what I was hoping to say and make like an English version of that. So basically, that video was just about like how I really stopped listening to a lot of Western music, and how really I only listen to like Islamic music and the Quran nowadays. Like, for some reason, I have this sort of desire to only want to listen to the Quran or Islamic music, but it's getting more and more to where I just want to listen to the Quran and nothing else, which kind of surprises me, to be honest. Because at the beginning of this year, before I even converted to Islam, it's like, music is my life. Like, I can't live without it. And now it's like, can you guys turn that off, please? Like, you know? But I know for like a lot of new Muslims who may be watching this video, you guys have probably heard stuff like, no, don't listen to music, it's so haram, and like, music is whatever. Because I know I've definitely heard that and seen it, people commenting it on different sites like Instagram and even YouTube comments, where if someone uploads a video and is like, hey, take out the music in the background, it's so haram, and like, I thought you were a good Muslim and stuff like that. And honestly, that sort of thinking, I don't know, to me, it's almost like toxic in a way. Just because, I mean, obviously none of us knows where anyone else is in their deen. So I don't know. I personally feel like we shouldn't really be judging someone. I know one artist that I like listening to, Khaled Siddiq. A lot of people, I don't know. He seems to be getting a lot of backlash for like wearing an earring and making his songs more Western like. So I don't know. I mean, that's not even really the point of this video, but yeah, whatever. Anyways, for the things where people are like, don't listen to music, it's haram, whatever, like all music, whatever, is just haram and you shouldn't be doing that. I mean, for a part of that, I think that is true in, I don't know, in like a small sense. Like if the music is very sexual or it talks a lot about sex and drugs and alcohol and stuff like that, yes, I definitely agree that stuff is haram and we shouldn't be listening to it. Let alone have little kids listening to that, because little kids, they are so impressionable. So if they start listening to that type of music, then they're going to be incorporating whatever vocab they may have heard into their daily words, especially if they're like 3 and 4 years old and they're saying like curse words, like cursing like a sailor and stuff, and talking about, I don't know, just very inappropriate things that no child, let alone Muslim children, should even be saying or thinking. Then yeah, I definitely agree that should be haram. Like, we just shouldn't be listening to that sort of stuff, no matter how catchy or addictive it may be, because it's not, I don't know, like, basically I've stopped listening to that sort of music and I have definitely seen a difference, because I found that, at least for me, listening to that sort of music felt kind of toxic. Like, I don't know, just it didn't feel right. Listening to that music, it just didn't feel good, and I felt very awkward almost listening to, like, if someone's playing music and I happen to overhear and is talking about, I don't know, especially like Nicki Minaj talking about random stuff that is just very inherently sexual. I just personally feel so awkward and I just want to leave the place. But, anyways, I've kind of gotten like a little bit off topic. But as for stopping really listening to that sort of music, um, so I mean, I started out slowly. So, like a few years ago, I discovered K-pop. And I'm sure a lot of you guys out there are going to obviously know what that is, especially with BTS doing all this stuff at the BBMAs and whatever. I think everyone at least has a general idea of what it is. And like K-pop and J-pop, with K-pop especially, like the way it's set up over there, they are not allowed to talk about anything super sexual, if anything like that at all. And they aren't allowed to have any curse words in there. So for me, that was sort of like a gateway into listening to like better music because it has like a better meaning than a lot of the stuff over here will. And I don't know, and like the meanings behind the music, especially K-pop music, I have found are, I don't know, they just have very good meanings. And I know with BTS's most recent albums, it's been all about like loving yourself and like loving who you are, being true to yourself. Um, so yeah, and I think that was like 2, 3, 4 years ago. I don't know, maybe even 5. That I don't know that like I really started listening to that, and since then it's been a very slow process for me, but it's been more quick this year for some reason that I've noticed. I just have not been wanting to listen to Western music at all. Um, and I mean, time to time, I still do listen to K-pop. And I might overhear someone playing music, or if someone's like in my dorm room that I have over and they're playing music, like I kind of let them choose. I was gonna say something. Yeah, and like if I have someone in my dorm room and I let them choose the music, then I mean, I don't know. I feel almost rude asking them like, "Hey, do you mind not playing this?" Because I mean, with me, I don't really want to listen to Western music. Like, I just no longer have a desire to listen to it. And nowadays, I'm finding myself wanting to listen to more Islamic music and the Quran, and that's about it. Like, I love K-pop and the meanings that it has behind it, and like I'll still listen to it, like I said. But I don't know. I want to listen to more like halal music, like a lot more recently. Um, but anyways, like at the start of this year, first started wearing the hijab. I think it was really like when we were going back to school senior year for second semester. Um, And like my mom sometimes would send me like videos, and she kind of wear like a turban-ish looking thing to kind of support me wearing the hijab, since in my town no one else does. Everyone in my town back home is very Christian, have the same views politically and religiously, etc. So with me being the only person in my town to wear the hijab and have really anything to do with Islam, my mom just kind of was doing that in support of me. And one of the videos that she sent me was CoverGirl from Dean Squad. And I don't know, it was probably like a month or less after that from that video I discovered more artists, and like Khaled Siddiq, like I mentioned earlier, and Syed and Omar Issa and Maher Zain. And I mean, I don't know, I fell in love with their music because I don't know why, but especially like the nasheeds that they do sometimes, it's very calming to me, and like I feel good listening to it, you know? Um and I listen to their music all the time. Like that's basically the only thing I will listen to now when I'm not listening to the Quran. And I'm not saying that to sound like a perfect Muslim or whatever, because I definitely am not. And no Muslim is going to be perfect, no matter how hard we try. It's just sort of a given in human nature as well. No one's perfect. And we shouldn't really try to be perfect, but just like the best version of us that we can be. Um, but yeah, so I was listening to their music basically nonstop for maybe 5 months or so. It was probably a bit longer, to be honest. I don't know how many months have passed. Um, yeah, I have a little script down here that I wrote last night. Otherwise, I would have forgotten what I was going to say. Oh, okay. Um, but yeah, with those types of artists, um, I just listen to when I just have, like, when I want to listen to something that, um, like, when I want to listen to Western music, like the kind over here that is on the radios especially, um, then I just look up one of the playlists I have on YouTube and I just listen to that. Um, but I don't know, that was kind of a very long, not really a rant, but I kind of got off topic a little bit. But anyways, I mean, if you are a new Muslim who only recently converted and you want to stop listening to like Western music, whether it's because you've heard people like, "Hey, don't do that, that's haram," or just cuz I don't know, just cuz it's something within you that's making you like, "Hey, just don't listen to this anymore," which is kind of what it was with me. It was more an internal thing than external. Um, but yeah, if you want to do that, I don't know, I would just say to start slowly. Or if you do want to listen to something that seems Western, but is actually more along the lines of more Islamic, I would definitely start off with something like Gene Squad because their music, it's really good and it has good meaning to it. Um, but I mean, with the whole music aspect of it, it can sound more Western, which I personally found was a really good transition to listening from Western music to slowly going into more Islamic music, and now really only wanting to listen to that sort of music in the Quran. I found that listening to Dean Squad first was definitely um, a good transitioner, like a good starting point. And then from that, just find artists that you like. And I know I've mentioned before, like, I personally like listening to Syed a lot. Like, he's one of the artists that I want to listen to all the time. Syed and Maher Zain are my two top ones that I think I listened to the most super recently. Um, but yeah. Or also maybe even integrating some of that music into a playlist that you might have. Like if you have like a completely like bad music playlist, if that makes any sense. Maybe just start incorporating sort of like people reciting the Quran or music from different artists that is more Islamic. Just start incorporating that more and more and more into your playlists. Which I think is what I sort of did too, and that seemed to help a lot. Um, but yeah, I would start off with maybe a few songs here and there, along with the normal music that you listen to, maybe for 1 or 2 months before incorporating more into it, and just keep going like that. Like with me, it's been, it's taken almost a year from January to now. And it's November right now. And so, yeah, it's taken nearly a year. So, for me, it's been a slow process to even get to this point. So, don't expect yourself to become what most people might consider like a perfect Muslim. Because, like I said before, none of us are perfect, you know? And we just have to try and be like the best version of ourselves religiously and even like mentally too. Just like being the best version that we can of ourselves. I think that's what's the most important thing. Like if God knows that you're trying to become better, like obviously like pray to him and stuff too. Just like, hey, this is what's going on. I'm trying to be better. Like, ya Allah, help me. But I don't know, that's just something that I think I did, just sort of incorporating that. And that seemed to really help me. Because then I wasn't having like sort of like music withdrawals like I thought I might have. And it was just a very slow and very natural transition to just getting to this point. And now when like I overhear people like playing music, because some of the people on my dorm floor play music very loudly. So I mean it's just natural that I'm going to overhear it. Um, but I just don't have a desire to listen to that anymore. And I just try and tune it out as much as I can, because I don't know, it's weird, sort of. But yeah, the most important thing that I have found is to start slow. And I've said it once, I've said it again. Don't expect yourself to try and transform from listening to music, especially the kind that's played on the radios over here a lot. Do not expect yourself to go from listening to that to just listening to the Quran and only the Quran in one day, especially if that's your goal, is to eventually only listen to the Quran. That's just, realistically, it's not going to happen. I mean, it might, but I feel like if you do that, you're definitely going to have more withdrawals and more of a desire to listen to that sort of music. And it's going to be a lot harder than if you just, I don't know, if you just start slowly and go from there. I think that will be a lot better personally. But I mean, I say just do what seems the most comfortable for you. If you think it is possible that you can switch from listening to haram music to only listening to like, again, like the Quran or Islamic music, go for it. But at least with me, I knew it was not going to be possible that I could do that. So just start slowly and do what sort of just makes the most sense for you. And yeah, I think everyone sort of has their own way of going about doing things. But yeah. Anyways, I hope this video helped someone. Oh no, I hope it helped you guys with at least something. Whether it's learning why other reverts may have stopped listening to music. I sound awful. And my water is up there. I'm too lazy to get that. But yeah, whether it's just from hearing how other reverts got to this point, or even just how to go about doing that if that's something you want to do. or anything like that, really. I hope it helped with someone with something. That's my main goal. Like, I mean, obviously, religiously, I am not supposed to, like, force anyone into doing anything, really. And I mean, that's just the way I am in general. Um, so obviously, I'm not forcing you to do anything, but if it is something you want to do, hopefully this video could have helped with that a little bit. So, yeah, bye.